Hello, welcome to Willow and Moon. I'm Sam and welcome to another studio vlog type video where I basically just take you through my day, show you what I'm doing as a full-time artist, mum, dog mum, just a realistic look into what it's like to be a creative as you're living, really. So I've been pondering about quite a lot of things today, and I've really been thinking about over the last, I think I put this in the last video, and so it's still whirring around in my mind. I'm kind of pondering on what it really means, and I've been doing it for a little bit longer, and that is putting my creativity before my admin and seeing what a difference it makes to my mental health and also my art skills. How it's making a big difference with that. So I wanted to just show you, I know I showed you a few things before. I think I went through this sketchbook last time, but I don't think I showed you these recent watercolours. So where's my number one? I'll have to show you the good, bad and the ugly, just so it's more realistic. Makes me nervous showing bad things, but this is real. You know, I think we get bombarded with so much stuff that just shows the highlights and all the good things, and someone just looks like they're succeeding constantly, and it's just not real. It's just not real life. So I feel like I hopefully will encourage you to know that things take time, you need to practice, and even if you're getting to a certain stage, you can sometimes go backwards and make some real boo-boos in your artwork, and it's all normal. It's all part of the process. It's nothing to feel bad about. You know, you're not a failure. You're not still moving forward. It's just kind of a spiral. Sometimes it's more of a you end up circling back to something that you need to learn on. You're just a little bit of a level up, and then you circle around again. You feel a similar thing, but again a level up. It's more like that, more like a spiral. So I wanted you to walk you through my process. So this was a sketch that I did trying to think about proportions and trying to get a likeness to what was I using? My drawing book. I think I'll have to show you whether there is a likeness. There is, but the eyes are a bit too big. Then I thought I'd go a bit mad with watercolour. Bit embarrassed to show you this. I don't know what that is. That was from my imagination, and you can see not great. Then I thought, right, back to pencil, and we'll do some studies. These hands are a little bit, they're such a funny angle because one of them's like this, and I haven't finished it, which makes a big difference, but you can see that this hand is a lot better than this one because of the angle and the fact that you kind of lose interest when it looks really rubbish. Another weird angle, again thinking about proportions. I didn't bother with the watercolour on those, but I might because they do feel like really good outlines. Then this one, you can see the proportions are just wrong. They're just really wrong. The bottom half is set too far forward, her brow is too far back. But I do kind of like these flowers that I did. It's just a bit random, bit of play because it was going wrong, so I thought I might as well play with it. Then I started it again, and the proportions are a lot better, but the skin tone, something on my nose, very orange and not great. So then I thought I'd go and something flying at me. Thought I'd go and challenge myself, and then I did this one. As you can see, not good. This was just over a week ago, so not the weekend just gone, the weekend before, so about 9 days ago. This is the start of my watercolour journey, the ones I've just showed you. So very muddy, very overworked, very one-dimensional, too much block colour, too much pigment in my mix, not enough translucent layers, which is really what you want from watercolour. There's a few little bits that I think are quite nice, but overall the eyes are wrong. They're way too big. The expression was quite good, and there is a bit of a likeness, but you know, there's a lot going on. Thought I'd try again. There you go. Again, didn't want to put her hair in. A lot better on the skin tones. Her eyes are a bit smaller and a bit more in proportion. Is her nose better? Let's have a look. No, yes, more subtle, but it needs more work. Again, this is unfinished. Lips, better expression. So I feel like I was getting somewhere. That ear, that just looks, I couldn't be bothered to finish it. I lose my inspiration and just want to move on. I'm struggling with the noses, so then I thought I would do a nose study, and I've numbered them because I think that's interesting. It's not actually that obvious which ones are better. So number 1, using that reference again. Number 2, better. Then I thought I'd move on to another reference, this one. This paper's not great. I'm not going to blame the paper, but it does get damaged. Number 4, better, and number 5, better. So I'm not sure if number 5's better than number 4, but you know, whatever. Excuse me. And I dated it, which I think is interesting. This was my art journaling prompt for my Patreon for October. That was a lot of fun. Just losing yourself in the creativity. It just feels really good. And that was all about letting go, because that's what the trees do. We need to learn from nature. Then I moved on to my moleskin. And I did this art journaling one, which was lovely. I wrote some bits from my letters to love, letters to God. Quite like the face on that one. That encouraged me to then move on. And I worked on this lovely lady. Lots of things I like about this. Still not great. Overworked. Slightly muddy in sections, but again, encouraging me. This one, as I was working on it, I felt like it was going really wrong. Never done a man before. Never done a beard before in watercolour. It was kind of stubbly. So what I did was I added it and then kind of dabbed the tissue on it. So that actually feels a lot stronger than it felt when I was doing it, if that makes sense. This one I did yesterday. Jawline's too severe. That's too severe. She was quite a stern looking lady, but there are elements of the skin tones that I really like about this. I feel like I've gone a bit wrong with her face, but part of the process. And then I thought I'd try an older lady, because younger skin obviously doesn't have the wrinkles. It's a lot smoother and probably a good starting point when it comes to working with the soft gradients of the shadows that create the kind of planes of the face. So I thought I would challenge myself and go in with not only an older lady but a different skin tone as well. And then this is what I came up with. Parts of it are, I feel like you can see elements of what I've learned over the last few drawings. I think I've got the skin tones quite well. The wrinkles, I haven't overworked them. There's an expression there that's really interesting and really almost, yeah, a real challenge to capture. But I'm feeling like I'm a lot stronger, not nearly there yet, but a lot stronger than I was on my initial sketch. I feel like I can get a roundabout likeness most of the time, whereas before it was a bit hit and miss. Like sometimes it was good and ish, and sometimes it was really off. So I feel like this is quite a breakthrough piece. So I wanted to just show you that by persevering, by keeping going, it doesn't take that long. What I was talking about creativity first is that I feel like the world is so noisy. There's so much going on. There's a lot of things that are really troubling. But there's not really a lot we can do about the bigger picture in our everyday. Sometimes it's about just quietening out the noise, just dimming it down somewhere slightly if you can. And I feel like art, I've never appreciated it as much as I do right now. And I was really thinking about this yesterday. How do we feel generally? How do you feel in yourself? What's it like to be in someone's mind? Because I know kind of what it's like to be in my mind, although I find it confusing. But does everyone feel the same? Does everyone have the same or similar thoughts? Do they feel good? Do they feel anxious? Do they feel worried or stressed? And I know you get elements of that, but how do you feel generally day to day? I just find it really interesting to find out more about how people are generally feeling. And I feel like there's this kind of underlying hum of to-do lists, of, you know, worries that might be happening in your life, feeling like you're maybe not where you want to be, problems in work, problems at home, challenges that you're trying to overcome. There's this kind of underlying hum of all of that. And then do we spend more time in that, and then you're not appreciating where you are? Very difficult to be in the moment. They talk about mindfulness and how important that is and being present, but it's actually quite difficult to do. So that's where creativity comes in. I just feel so excited. It's like I've only just realised how great creative. I always knew that I did it, whether I was happy or sad, worries, whatever. I always knew that it made me feel better, but I didn't really understand why. And I think it is because it quietens down that hum, that kind of noise that we've got going on in our minds, and it makes you concentrate on something and you get into that flow state. Now, I think it's quite important what you maybe listen to whilst you're in that flow state. So I was listening to a lot of true crime, and that kind of jars with my settling my nervous system. It actually puts it on a little bit more red alert. So I've pared that right down, and I started listening to people that I find inspirational, relaxing music, relaxing podcasts that are very positive, and it's really helped. And no matter what you've got going on in life, I just feel like it's really good to lose yourself and be in the moment, even if it's for 10 minutes, half an hour, an hour. Yesterday I was working on something and an hour went by, and I just couldn't believe the time when I looked at it, because I felt like I sat down for 2 seconds. So I just want to explore that a little bit more and talk about that, how important, and try and really encourage people with their creativity, not to put it last, not to put it as something that you can do when you've done everything else, because that never ends, but something that you do first to set your day up. And that's what it's been doing. I've been doing it first, and it's been setting me up to then be more resilient and be able to deal with all of the other things that happen during the day. What do you think about that? Does any of that make sense to you? That's what I've been thinking about over the last few days, few weeks, probably years, if I really think about it. But it's I'm starting to be able to put words and thoughts to the thing, like nail down what it is. And I hope that that can help other people too. You know, sometimes we wait for the perfect moment to create. When the house is quiet, when the to-do list is done, when we finally feel ready. But creativity doesn't work like that. It wants to meet you exactly where you are. Messy, tired, uncertain, distracted. It doesn't care. It just wants a doorway. Every time your brush touches the paper, you've opened that doorway. You're in a conversation with your soul. Even if all that comes out is a splodge of colour or a line that goes wrong, there is no wrong here. I used to think I had to make something good, something that justified the time, something that proved that I was improving, that I wasn't wasting my art materials that can be quite expensive, or you feel like you need to save them for best. But that kind of pressure squeezes the life out of art. And what I'm learning is that creativity is less about making and more about listening. Listening to what feels alive in the moment. The texture, the movement, the way the colour bleeds and blooms, and that's where the magic happens. If you're watching this and haven't picked up a pencil or a brush for a while, take this as your permission slip.
You don't need fancy supplies or a clear plan. You just need 5 quiet minutes and a willingness to show up. Let the paint move. Let yourself be surprised. And if nothing turns out the way you hoped, celebrate that too, because you showed up for yourself, and that is art. And this is your reminder that creativity isn't about performing, it's about returning again and again and again to the part of you that feels free.
else. Had the vet for the dog, had things in the school. Oh, my daughter's got a Halloween disco tonight, a little bit early, a week early, but I've been making, so creativity comes in many forms. So I've been doing these. So they are pipe cleaner flowers. I had pipe cleaners because we actually made spring flowers for my daughter's birthday in April. So I had loads of pipe cleaners left over because I ordered some online and they didn't arrive until after the party, which is really annoying. So I had to go out and buy extra ones for the party. So I was left with all of these. So for since the weekend really, and 2 hours yesterday and a couple of hours spread over, I reckon it's been about 10 hours overall. I don't know why I agree to these things. I don't know about you, but I always think it's going to take less time than it does. And when I start, I realise I don't know how to do it. Then I get really frustrated because I don't know how to do it. Then you have to learn how to do it. And then once you do get into a bit of a rhythm and work out the technique and they start taking shape, it's actually quite enjoyable and it's a creative process again. All of the frustrations and difficulties and not knowing what you're doing, that seems to apply through every creative project, whatever it is. You get this idea, you get this spark of inspiration, and then you realise that you don't know what you're doing. I think it's called like, I can't remember, there are 4 stages. It's something ignorance, like you don't know that you don't know, then you do know that you don't know, and then you start to know, and then you just fly. I can't remember what they're called. I'll see if I can find it. It's Friday, I didn't sleep that well, I can't remember any words. It's just the way it is. So, did them. You might think what on earth is on them. I've got these fake cobwebs and little fake spiders in them because they are going as zombie brides. So I had this idea that I'd make a pretty-ish bouquet of flowers, and then when you get close you realise that they're all old. So not only had to make one, but I had to make 2 because her and her best friend have decided to go as zombie brides together, and their grandma, lovely, made an outfit for them out of an old sheet that they painted, and I said, oh, I'll do the flowers then, not knowing it would take me 10 hours. But anyway, it's done, I'm excited. I've tied the ends, made some leaves, tied the ends with some self-adhesive bandages that I got for Delilah when she had a bad something. And they look quite pretty. So my husband cut the ends off, so they're a bit sharp. I'm gonna bind that and do that all the way down so they're easy to hold. Yeah, so that's, creativity comes in lots of different forms, whether it's gardening or cooking or whatever. I shouldn't go off camera, but take me as you find me. So today I'm mainly working on a commission, pet portrait. It's got pencils everywhere. I don't do many of these a year now, just a couple, because I primarily don't just use colour pencil like I used to. I used to really get into the detail and trying to create a likeness and realistic fur, and I was on that mission for quite a few years and did the old animal wildlife piece in between with the birds. Then I had a Patreon which is still uploaded, but I don't add to it anymore, and that was tutorials. I filmed and talked through the whole process. That is available. I might put it in the description actually. That's under Samantha Clift Art. And I've got over 30 tutorials for different things using the 4 main pencils: graphite, graphite, coloured pencil, pastel pencil and watercolour pencil. So lots of different creative projects, varying in length. Some of them are 12 hours long, obviously cut into little chunks, and some of them are 3 hours. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. I did that for quite a few years, hence building up the collection. And I still have some members on there, although it's very small. And then I've got my Willow and Moon membership, which is more about unlocking your creativity and how we can, how creativity is just absolutely essential to well-being. I really believe that more and more. The more I find out about it, the more I realise it's super, super important. And I've been looking at different artists online. I like to watch YouTube as a rule, self-help podcasts, similar creatives to what I'm doing that I can kind of resonate with. I love the slow living. I love the turning up as you are, generally positive, but also not being too polished and not being setting an unrealistic expectation of what an artist's life or anyone's life is like. Because I feel like that could also almost show that if someone's feeling a bit flat or whatever, that they're doing something wrong, which you are absolutely not. We all feel like that at times. So creativity is a way of combating that and getting into that lovely flow state. And I wondered what that was, and I've delved into it a little bit. And I've been watching a couple of artists that I really love their personalities, but their art is very different to mine, or their style is very different, or so I was intrigued by it, because it takes all sorts, doesn't it? I just love seeing lots of different perspectives, lots of different inspirations, and the art was quite, and I don't want to say this in a negative way because it's not negative, but it could be construed as negative. It's like childlike and playful, and like mark making and bold colours, and not worrying about proportions, or there's depth, of course, but not worrying about foreground, and not in the same way. And what I've realised, which is what I just am so excited about, is that I feel like I've been in a stage in the last, well, forever, of learning certain skills. So thinking about proportions, thinking about how to make something look more realistic. And I wonder if that is the stage in order, so you learn the rules in order to be able to break them on purpose. That feels like an epiphany to me. Does anyone know what I mean? I feel like learning the structure and the foundation of art then enables you to play. So it's almost like, now you don't need to learn the structure that you would like to learn. So there's no kind of like tick this box and this box and this box and then you're done. That never happens. But get to a stage where you feel that you're at a level that you feel happy with, in order to then break the rules on purpose when it comes to proportion, depth, mark making, play. Was it Picasso that said, it took me 4 years to draw like Rembrandt, but a lifetime to learn to paint like a child? Is that the saying? A lot of the time when people look at a piece of artwork, so say Picasso, we'll take him because most people know his artwork. Sometimes he has the eyes on the same side of the face, like Peppa Pig. There's no proportion. The features are all distorted. And on the surface, you might think, well, that's not clever. But once you go deeper and you start to understand the story behind it and the concept and the fact that he was a master draftsman, beautiful, realistic Rembrandt paintings, in order for him to abandon that side of art and go down the whole playful, free, him allowing himself to be all of himself. And I wonder if it's a stage that a lot of people go through. Some people go through a short period of time of that, and some people go for a longer. I'm 45 now, and I've only just feel like I'm starting to understand why I've been drawn to this abstract and freedom of splashing paint around, and this is why I feel like I'm at that stage that not that everyone has to go down this stage. If you want to do realistic portraits and paintings and you just want to get better and better and better at them, and that fills you up creatively, I'm all for that. I was starting to think that there was something wrong with me, that I wanted to explore other things. Why couldn't I just be happy with that? I think you've just got to go with whatever you feel like, whatever comes, and embrace it. And Don't fight it and don't think that there's anything wrong with you. Either way, whatever you decide to do, I'm really tired of all of these rules and stigma and, well, it's not real art if you don't do, creativity is just innate within the human psyche. Is that the word? I just feel like we are born to create, whatever that means for you, whether it's knitting, crochet, cake making, decorating cakes, you know, gardening, sewing, pottery, anything counts, cooking, anything. Did I just say that? DIY, oh my God, that's massively creative. Just making something better, making something that wasn't there before, or improving it. Why am I only just realizing what this? I'd love to hear your opinion. I'd love to know what you think about this. And start a conversation and build on it, because I feel like I've just woken up. And it's given me the permission to embrace my inner child. Children don't paint in the same way that adults do. They don't judge themselves. They're just free. And it takes a lifetime to undo all of the conditioning and all the pressure that we put on ourselves and all the pressure that's there from the outside and all of these rules and gatekeepers in the art world, you know. I'm here to if you feel like you need permission, then take this as the permission to just create and do and be whoever you are, whatever that is, messy, perfectly imperfect you. So I'm going to carry on with my commission, and then once I feel like I've got a good amount done, I think I'm going to have a little play. I normally do it the other way around, but it makes no sense to pack all this up. I might as well carry on. So sometimes practicalities and logistics have to play a part. But yeah, go and create something. See you in a bit.